Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to another Red Room game review. As you guys know, I have reviewed quite a few of them, and I just got my copy of Red, courtesy of Amazon. Really glad Miguel decided to put something on Amazon. I think this one's going to sell really well on Amazon. I did order a book from Lulu because it's the only place it's available, and I'll review that in like the 2 months that it takes for me to get that copy. This one from Amazon got to me, I think it was 2 days order time from the time I ordered it to the time it appeared on my doorstep. And Red, I'm going to read right from the back of the book so that you guys get the full, from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Red is a versatile role-playing game system designed to bring thrilling and immersive adventures to life. The Red rules offer a flexible framework for creating and playing characters in a wide variety of settings and genres, from gritty noir to cosmic horror and beyond. While Red shares some of its mechanical DNA with our Wretched game series, it stands as its own distinct entity, where the Wretched line focuses on anti-hero characters within the cinematic Wretchedverse. Red opens up a broader palette of character types and adventuring possibilities. The familiar mechanics provide an accessible entry point for those knowledgeable about Wretched or other OSR games, but Red does not default to anti-hero stance, allowing for a more varied range of character concepts and motivations. Also, while Red is not strictly an old school game, it shares enough similarities to be easily adaptable using the rules of Wretched or any other OSR game. This compatibility allows for seamless integration of existing OSR materials, including any of our previous settings, source books, and scenarios, and provides a familiar foundation. And seeing as how the Red Room has put out well over 60 books, that makes this particular game come, right out of the gates with a crap ton of possibilities, whether it's sci-fi, fantasy, like they said, noir, country, cyberpunk, just you name it, there is probably a Red Room game that you can, tack onto this or supplement or source book, if you will. So let's get right into it. Now, I asked Miguel a question, but because of the time difference, I didn't get a response. But I do believe Savage Swords is based on these mechanics, although there are some differences, and I will try and pin that comment when I get the response right off the bat. My son and I were looking at the book, and normally they have in the past used mostly AI art, but this one is fully filled with original artwork by original people. And right off the bat, the cover, let's see if I can get that in there where you guys can see it. We really enjoyed a lot of the individual little characters that are drawn here. This one right here is probably my favorite, but there are some really good ones, including characters from all the different genres you can possibly imagine. I forget who did this. Let's see if the cover artist is easy to find. Cover art by Jay Tanaka. Okay, that's why I like it. I've liked all of his work I've seen in the past. Right off the bat, you can see this is actually the cover for Final Frontiers, which is the book that I ordered because I really like sci-fi stuff, as you know, from my Saturday night show. And for the most part, it uses a lot of familiar concepts and rules and things like that you guys are probably already familiar with. 3d6 stats, your strength, your okay, they're not here, but one of the things I do like about it is when it goes into the stats, it tells you what you can expect from a stat. If your stats are 3 to 5 or 18 or above, you start out with about a handful of skills, and you get a few more. Basically your archetype will determine how many you get, as well as your prime stat bonus. If your prime stat is strength and it's giving you a +2, then you get, I believe, an extra couple of skills because of that. And then there are a crap ton of archetypes. I mean, like, I want to say like close to 50 different archetypes or character professions, which is awesome because there's something in there for everybody. Each character also gets perks and drawbacks based on their archetype, and you can purchase more through experience points. You get a couple of origin life path roles and life, backstory roles to get your character going and give you some ideas of what your character was doing before first level, if you will. But there are no levels because it's more of a skill-based system where even though it has an archetype, it's mostly driven by your skills, and your skills range from level 1 to 5, which is an actual modifier to your target number that you're rolling, and I'll get more into that as I get to it. But I want to read off the archetypes so you have an idea of what kind of characters you could run. There's the archaeologist, the avenging angel, the conspiracy theorist, the cop, the cult leader, the cybermancer, the daredevil, dream magician, explorer, femme fatale, gambler, hacker, hired killer, hustler, martial artist, medic or doctor, mercenary, mobster, necromancer, occultist, pagan conjurer, paranormal investigator, performer, pilot, politician, priest, private eye, professor, psychic, reporter, serial killer, sex magician, shaman, smuggler, soldier, spy, terrorist, thief, traditional conjurer, urbanomancer, and war veteran. And like I said, each one of them gives you starting skills, about 5 or 6 it looks like. Tells you your primary attribute, your skill set, which are skills that you're recommended from grabbing your skills from. Choice of a free perk, and there's usually 3 or 4 perks, advantages if you will, and then a unique feat that's indicative of your archetype's abilities. And then it does give you a small section of starting gear, things that you should start with that for the most part I don't think are in the equipment section. Speaking of which, there is 2 sections on equipment. You could either use the target number to acquire said item through gameplay without having to spend hard currency, or you can use the hard currency section, which gives you prices for everything. Then after the archetypes, there are the skills. Using skills, there are situational modifiers, there's automatic success parameters where why you would roll, why you wouldn't. Like I said before, the 5 levels of skills, and in each skill it will tell you what like a level 1 novice, what they can be expected to accomplish with that skill, all the way to the level 5 master and what they can accomplish. The target numbers, depending on the difficulty, will range anywhere from no roll required up to a 30 when it's an almost impossible task. There are a lot of ways you can get bonuses to these rolls, and there are also ways to specialize in your skill, and each skill has a list of several, it seems, different specializations which can be purchased through experience points, which are gained rather easily throughout the course of a night's play. There's also a section on magic several times, including several styles or schools of magic that for the most part I have never seen before, or at least their particular take on them is more than unique enough to warrant purchasing the book if you're looking for new spells, new rituals, things like that. The combat is very similar to Savage Swords in that there are a lot of different things you can do during a melee round to gain bonuses to your attack, your defense, etc. Unlike many other games where it's just declare your action and roll to hit with minor bonuses. These have some really, really well thought out strategies that you can use. There's also drawbacks that you can take or get assigned to you depending on your profession or your archetype that are also a lot of fun and also help you honestly role play your character better. Then there's the path of sin and virtue that we've talked about before. Instead of it being an alignment, you kind of pick a path you want to go down, and depending on what you do will lead you further down one way or the other. Talked about the gear acquisition, the melee weapons, armor, cyber tech. A lot of those things are in this book, even though there will be more in the particular source book you pick. If you want to play a cyberpunk sort of game, I recommend grabbing one or more of the supplements so that you can have more to work with, because this is kind of like your basic generic-ish role-playing game where you can use this to play the beginning of a game or a genre, and then make up stuff as you see fit, or grab more stuff from one of their other one of their other books, supplements, etc. And there is a lot of equipment in different categories, whether it's a sci-fi, fantasy, cyberpunk kind of game. Then experiencing progression. For the most part, you get 1, 2, or 3 experience points for any of the following activities that you could participate or role play out. Participation, just showing up at the table, you get 1 for the night. Okay, cool. Teamwork and cooperation, innovative problem solving, role playing, excellence, unraveling mysteries, personal growth, group success, contributing to the game world and custom events. Like if your character has like a particular goal and you achieve that, then you can get a couple XP for working that out. And then what you do with your experience points, instead of going for a level, you can spend them on various things like buying skills at different levels depending on what your level is already, buying a specialization, that one's like 50 points, actually buying attributes for 200, buying perks or buying off drawbacks are a mighty 500 to get rid of or to gain a new one. And now, just because you have the points doesn't mean you can automatically buy it. You kind of have to plan ahead and let the GM know that you're working toward this or that, and try to role play it out throughout the course of the game. Like I said, the next chapter is combat, with a lot of really detailed things, including naval combat, ship maneuvers, vehicle combat. There are some ship examples, then hazards and healing. For the most part, the effects of poison and stunning and things like that, because some of those effects will come into play. Diseases, drugs, poisons, other hazards, and how fast you heal, even the effects of drugs and alcohol, with some pretty specific examples. I wish I could turn this page. This would be really nice. Then fear and panic, in case you were interested in running a horror-based game, cosmic horror, ghosts, hunting, that sort of thing, and all the rules for fear and panic and insanity and stuff like that, that you can add or subtract as you see fit. The magic section is probably a good chunk of the game, probably at least a third of the game, or the mechanics here in there, including alchemy. That's a pretty sizable chunk. Let's see, 162 to 214. So about 50 pages. Okay, so a quarter of the book. Then there's also psionics and psionics, and all the abilities that you would expect, and easily enough to add any that you don't find in here. A chapter on mesmerism, which I thought was kind of funny and also interesting, because most games don't cover anything like that. the old hypnotism and things like that. Then there's a nice section on fringe science in case you're going to be running a game that you want to add kind of things like that. And then the last section, more or less, is adversaries and monsters, things like that. Throughout the game, I'm going to show you some of these images that they put in here that are a lot of fun. The different, like, 2-color spreads of text, sort of flavor text, and interesting new artwork for all the various genres that you might expect to play or hope to play with this game. And then at the back, a couple of well, I think it's a 2-page character sheet. Yeah, it's the front and back. So I'm sure you can just photocopy those off and get your character up and running pretty quick. All in all, it's a pretty quick game to make a character for. And, if you're looking for a new system where, consequences matter, characters are not going to be superheroes unless you grab one of the superhero books. And even then, they're still going to be down-to-earth kind of characters. Your constitution or health score is your hit points in this. So 18 is a lot, and the average weapon is doing 1 or more d6, kind of like Traveler, but a little more lethal, I want to say, in a lot of respects, especially with the critical hits and things like that. But all in all, I'm a big fan of just about everything the Red Room has done, and obviously, I'm writing for them, and I'm going to keep reviewing their games because in the last 5 years, probably not only the most prolific, but the most popular games I've read were by Miguel and Sylvia. And if any of this is of interest to you, if any of this sounds like something that you're looking for, have been yearning to play, that sort of thing, and you want a big system with a lot to choose from and a lot to add or experience and experiment with, this might just be the game for you. And again, it's now on Amazon. I will try to get the link later today for you guys and pin that as well, because I want to see them sell enough copies through Amazon to make it the way to go, because like I said at the beginning of the video, having to wait a month and a half, 2 months to get a book after I've ordered it, chances are I'll have forgotten that I ordered it, and then it shows up and I'm like, yeah, I'm booked for the next couple of months, so it's just going to end up on the shelf. But if I order it, I received this, I want to say Thursday or Friday afternoon, and I read it over the weekend, and I was able to do this video. It's technically Sunday night when I'm recording this, and when you see it, you'll see that it's Monday morning. But I was able to read it. A lot of the stuff I'm already familiar with because obvious reasons. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Also, you can still go over to the Red Room's website. I'll try and put that here as well, but you can find them on Discord, Facebook, X, etc. They're all over the place, and to date, in the time that I've known them, they've probably put out 20 different books, just the two of them writing, and they're honestly one of the best writing teams out there, making some of the best games out there. And I hope you guys enjoy them. I hope you guys play them. I hope you guys come back and let me know how much you've enjoyed them and played them. And until next time, folks, I will see you guys in the funny papers.